Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. As the National Football League moves into its second century, its players, games, and activities are all constantly documented and released to the public on a daily basis. Little within the NFL is not covered and shared immediately via traditional print interests, cable television, and social media. In short, the NFL is everywhere. Information on key players and teams is readily available, and pertinent information can be accessed within a few clicks on the service of your choice. Fast, easy, and reliable. Yet the NFL was not always the huge corporate success that it is today, nor was it always the colossal entertainment monster to which several generations are now accustomed. No, because at one time, the NFL was not only ignored, it was also looked upon as a disdainful operation, reputed to be riddled with greed, gambling, and insincerity. That was then, but somehow, the early leaders of the NFL helped the league to survive and prosper. With over 100 years of history, some of the personalities, teams, and challenges of the NFL in its infancy have disappeared from memory. However, thanks to a small group of researchers and authors, we might call them the football detectives, the forgotten history of the NFL has been and will continue to be retrieved and documented for future generations. One of these football detectives is your host, Joe Ziemba, the author of the award-winning book When Football Was Football, The Chicago Cardinals and the Birth of the NFL. He's a guy who enjoys sifting for hours through ancient archives, rolls of blurry microfilm, or forgotten scrapbooks in order to track down the truth behind the legends and lore of the National Football League. And depending on how you look at it, he either has no life, or he has the coolest job of them all. This show, When Football Was Football, is part of the Sports History Network, and Ziemba will be your personal guide on a customized journey through over 100 years of forgotten NFL football history, with emphasis on the Bears and the Cardinals when both teams were located in Chicago. Each program will focus on a lost or unknown aspect of an individual, team, or event with a connection to the early NFL. Welcome to a time when football was football. This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.